There is no moment so delightful, so astonishing, so blissful. As the timeless moment when consciousness, which had mistaken itself for an individual entity, realizes itself as the infinitely vast, love-filled, supreme being. In that moment, one transcends the imaginary realm of experience, in which one believes in a pseudo-reality of the phenomenal plane of objects. And one is never fooled again by believing in that plane as real. And one transcends the register of imperience, in which the ego mind dwells and festers as a parasite upon consciousness. And one realizes that even that realm has no reality. It is Maya. The only real dwells in the realm of summerience, the sum, the totality, the peak, the ultimate, the supreme unity of all that is. And that you are that. And once one has reached that peak and established oneself there as one's true home, one need never come down again. Just as one day we may never come down from Arunachala, and this will be an eternal retreat. But that moment of establishment in summerience, in the supreme, pure consciousness of the transfinite, infinity of infinities, is the deepest yearning and destiny of every spirit who is already a part of that vast single self. And all of you have tasted in this retreat the truth of the real of divine love. Now you know there is no other love. Whatever else masquerades as love is attachment, greed, possessiveness, delusion, Maya. And it is those false loves that steal away the bliss of the only real love. And that is the danger you must guard against now. If anyone still thinks, I am a mother and I love my child, mi amor, this one, whether son or daughter, is the special one, then one is not only cheating oneself, but cheating who you consider the daughter. Because the daughter, the son, each is a manifestation of Shiva, as are you. And to feel some individual attachment is to deprive yourself of the infinite for a finite and false love that weakens you and destroys the true bond of real love between the two. Because it is a command upon the other not to grow, not to realize their godhood, but to remain small, a child, and to belong to an unreal ego entity instead of realizing that the only true relation is with God. And that relation is unity. And so in order to be liberated into godhood, we must be freed from the bondages of false loves. And this is the most difficult achievement of the mind that struggles out of the straitjacket of the ego, and the most noble and courageous. It is the roar of the lion, of the victory over Maya. And so on this last full day of our retreat, it is imperative for you, so that when you return to Kali Yuga, where all the demands of others still in illusion will try to capture you in their net, that you today establish yourself firmly on that peak in Shiva consciousness, so that you will not become the prey of some predatory ego who wishes to possess you in the name of love and take away your God consciousness. And you know that you must never fall into those same predatory tactics based on lack and weakness of the illusion of the ego, rather than on the all-powerful might of Shiva that you truly are. Never fall from the absolute nobility of God consciousness. Never fall into weakness, into lack, into the illusion of being a pseudo-entity, a body. But you are the infinite spirit. And now that you know it, it is your duty and your bliss to never forget it. And it is the bliss of all. Because the one who remembers their Shiva remembers for all and transmits that to all. You have many weapons to help defend you against the counter-attack of Maya that will inevitably come. The first and most important is viveka, discrimination, discernment between the real and the unreal. And what happens is we start to get lazy in our practice of viveka. We stop discriminating. And if you fall even for a moment into the unreal, the weeds of Maya will spread through your garden until they choke every flower. They grow even faster in your mind than they do in Arunachala. Don't let it happen. And every thought of the ego mind is a false thought. It's unreal. And if you buy into it, even for a moment, if you entertain it or indulge it, it will capture you and choke off your God consciousness. And you would lose the precious bliss that you have attained. So instantly uproot every weed, every ego thought, as it arises. Refute it, and return to the silence of the divine presence. The peace, the love, the bliss. The viveka is most important because via the viveka you reach the vijnana, the wisdom. That acts as the fertilizer of the garden, of the flowers, of the beauty, of the recognition of the all-powerful nature of Shiva consciousness. It is not fragile. It is invincible, and you are that. And via that you will reach the next weapon you have, the highest and most subtle, which is vairagya, detachment from all the maya, from all the false relationships, from all the pseudo-love, from all possessiveness, from all greed, from all fear, from all anger, from all the pseudo-emotions that will try to capture the consciousness. And that detachment is the all-powerful dissolution of that maya. Because the detachment from maya is automatically the reunion with God, the only real, supreme real. And we reunite with God through our recognition of our love for God, and in God and as God. And this is even beyond bhakti yoga. This is what they call parabhakti, the supreme love. And that supreme love no longer even permits a weed to take root in the garden. Reach the vairagya point. Establish yourself there, so there can never again be a fall into maya. Raise the flag of liberation and never let it be overturned by maya. You are already great Mahaviras, great spiritual warriors. You have proven that. But now the next step beyond that of the great warrior is the king. The warrior has gained the kingdom. Now assume the throne and never leave it. And then maya will bow down to you. the ego will serve, not try to rule, and it will dissolve entirely into the absolute. Use this day to plant that flag of the supreme liberation. And in every moment, keep the weapon of viveka active against any secret assaults from the unconscious. Don't let yourself be hit from behind. Shiva has eyes on all sides. The all-seeing eye of Shiva has no unconscious. And the eye of Shiva burns with a laser beam through every unconscious. And where there is the supreme light, there can be no darkness. Keep the torch of that light held high. The Statue of Liberty is only an imitation replica of Shiva consciousness, the World Mother. She too now has been defiled by the very land where her statue has been erected. But we must restore all lands to the purity of God, for this earth belongs to God. It was the very lie of private property that destroyed the holiness of our sacred mother. We are the property of God. The ego cannot own any property. The ego is an illusion, and private property has deprived the earth of the sacredness which it deserves, by believing individual egos have the right to make a profit off of the beauty of nature and destroy it for the filth of illusionary money. All of us are the common property of God. And because we are God, we can walk proudly on this earth, knowing that it is now returning into the hands of God and shall be restored to its full and true sacredness. And it is our love and our empowerment and our truth that is the catalyst of this restoration. Through God's grace of working through each manifestation that we are. Each of you is the manifest glory of God, the infinite beauty. Always live up to the truth of your being. And you will always have the support and the power of the Supreme One with you, in you, as the very self and essence of your being.